All right, welcome, women. I'd love to take some time to go around and to just briefly introduce yourself and to share a little bit about either the work that you're doing now or the work that you're stepping into. And why don't we start with you, Courtney?
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm a circle facilitator and a cycle awareness advocate. And my work has really grown organically out of my path of coming back to myself. So, through our time together, I've been transitioning from focusing on teaching yoga to incorporating these other aspects of my work. And it's really coalesced under this new name that I've brought forth. And I'm really excited to share. Actually, I think this is maybe the first time I'm really sharing it publicly, which is under the name of The Circle is Medicine. And for me, it really says it all. It's the circle and the cycles and community. And these are the things that have really healed and supported me. And it's what I offer and wish to be offering to others.
And how about you, Riza?
I just want to say that's so beautiful, Courtney, and thank you, Sarah, for having me. So I'm Reise Tanner, and I am in a period of transitioning a business that was based on birth work and education and facilitating groups called Seed in the Garden that I've quietly been moving away from. And now I'm really stepping into my new business, which is Myth Apotheca, where I'm carrying over some of my programs in a way that is expansive to serve more people through story medicine and depth psychological coaching. I don't know what else to share about it, except that I'm so excited for this new chapter and your support in helping me bring this into life. A lot quicker, where I was holding on to what I was, and now I'm able to go forward to where I'm going.
Where you're being called? I feel it's like you're being called to this new space, this new frontier, so to speak. Yeah, I'm sure
Absolutely.
we'll get into more details about that today. And how about you, Anna?
Well, I'm loving the theme of medicine that I just heard from you, Courtney and Riza. So, my medicine is probably, well, not probably, it's horse wisdom. So, 40 years in the corporate sector as a change management consultant, and my business has been bubbling highs and lows for 18, 20 years. But this is the year, my fire horse year, where I am completely, with complete joy and commitment, stepping away from the corporate piece, although some people don't know that yet, into this beautiful work of women in community alongside horses, using the learning that I've gained in the last 20 years with my three horses, who are still all together and with me, to really help us to get internally connected to who we really are, that we've forgotten who we are along the way. And oh, it feels such a relief to just be on the precipice of its broader birthing, is all I can describe it as. Because it's been there for a very long time and I've been doing the work for a very long time. But this now feels like a complete re-emergence and a recalibration of everything that of who I am so far, and how we as women in community can support each other in that work.
And we're just finishing our time together in Her Self CEO. You all joined back in the fall, and the day that this airs is actually our closing circle. So I'd love for you to maybe journey back to right when you're on the precipice of stepping into this container of Herself CEO, and what made you feel drawn to join this initially? I mean, we'll just go in the same order that we've been going in.
Okay. Wow. Well, for me, there were two things. One was that it was grounded in IFS, which I'm new to, and yet I the little bit experience I had with it, it really spoke to me. And the possibility to integrate that work into my work in the world. For me, anyway, how you do anything is how you do everything, and everything is path and everything is practice. So I really appreciated that, and having the chance, especially at the beginning of the course, to dive in, and then the support to really integrate that parts work has been it was what drew me in, and what's really been, I would say, very special about this experience. And then also, I was at a point where I was juggling, and I still am a little bit juggling, but it feels more like it's much more cohesive, sort of three projects. So I mentioned the teaching yoga. And I also, about 2 years ago, with my collaboration partner, co-founded Yes to Yourself, which is the self-marriage movement. So that's been happening. And then also there's another project that's actually today, after quite a saga, our mobile sauna arrived. And it was this whole time we've been here, I've been wondering, is it going to happen? And it arrived today. And so that's kind of another piece that's coming in. And what I was really looking for was some help and some direction in how to take these pieces and bring it together, and to find a through line. And I feel like I've gotten a lot of support with that. It's still a work, I like to say, a play in progress. I've changed my languaging, but this has helped me a lot bring that aspect of the IFS, really looking at the inner work, and then being able to bring, of course, all the other things that are more related to, let's say, growing. I love how you say it, Sarah, a soul-led business.
What about you, Riza?
I'm more of a visionary person and a creative, and I like to follow my intuition and what feels good, and ideas tend to pour out of me. But I grapple with having structures and figuring out how to do things and create marketing systems. So I was drawn to having these skills, but I noticed a lot of the business courses were not resonant. And I've been working with you and doing your programs and following you for years. And I love the way that you balance pragmatic, savvy business advice and structure, but you say it in a way that's really palatable for people who are in soulful or spiritual or healing, helping businesses, so that I could see myself in that. And you also were breaking it down in a way that I can take it step by step, in a way that felt authentic and gave me a sense of agency, not just like, okay, you need to fit into this bro marketing scheme. It feels feminine and yet strong. And I do think that having that structure ultimately is allowing for more to flow. So I went from having a lot of ideas, but my energy leaking as I try to create all of them, to having more of a structure that allows for a flow so that I can make progress and deliver all the way through the programs that I've been dreaming of.
Well, and how about you, Anna?
Oh, both of those, IFS and the balance with spirituality. I'd had a 6 week foray with a therapist locally to me in the UK, just to have some understanding in advance of joining this, and it was so helpful for me. So the IFS piece completely, and I'm only on the beginning, but and what this process and this partnering in these groups has done for me is helped me to realize just how powerful and timely it is for my spiritual voice to be heard to myself. So actually, the biggest reason I joined was because I was so frustrated with myself for going 1 foot on the accelerator, the gas pedal, and 1 foot on the brake. And I'd move a millimeter and then I go back 2 millimeters. So years, if not decades, of that internal sort of strife is exhausting. And my instinct told me, my brain said IFS, my heart said spirituality, and the two combined together. And listening to your prior, some of your podcasts and other things on YouTube, I just had a very clear instinctive drawn to your energy, the breadth of the program offering, because the internal work to do the outer work without having done the internal work is what I've been doing for years. So those two things combined in one container has been so significant for me, which I hope you've seen along the way.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
Mm.
we'll speak to some of those
Yes.
breakthroughs that you've had. First, I'm curious, like if you going back to that time when you joined, did you have any resistance to joining? And maybe what ultimately helped you to say yes, like I'm gonna jump into this experience?
Same order.
Same order, yeah.
Okay. Get the hot seat. Well, yes, resistance, pricing, I've never, I mean, I've been in self-employed for, I don't know, 15 years. And I winged it. I had my own yoga studio. I just sort of figured it out, sort of. Um, so the idea of investing in a business, and yeah, in that aspect, and especially the name herself, CEO, is like, wow, I'm a CEO. I'm, it's just me doing my thing. So yes, there was that resistance. And at the same time, there was, the parts that were absolutely cheering me on and saying, if not now, when? And I don't remember, Sarah, which podcast exactly it was, but you did a wonderful series of podcasts over the summer. And I have a huge garden with a ridiculously big lawn that I mow myself. It's a part of my sadhana. And I listened to your podcast while I was mowing the lawn, and there was something you said that was similar kind of to what Anna was just saying about this integration of, imagine that you could do the work and do your business at the same time. And that really just kind of struck a chord with me. And I also had the chance to do a course with you years ago around one of your books, which I'm forgetting the name right now, but
I
it's
think
the
it was the Book
wonderful,
of She Club. No?
the Heroine's Journey book.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that was magic. So there wasn't, it was a bit of those parts about around self-worth and stepping up. And then there was the magic of just having that just right, um, sort of like the bell awakening, saying, absolutely, this is, I didn't know so much I was looking for it until I found it. Yeah.
Liza?
Mm. I also did the she year. It was a she school. I don't know if we were in it together, Courtney. And so I've been listening to your voice for a while, Sarah, and things that you're doing sometimes pop up at the right time for me, like something opportune. And so last summer I had done some coaching with you one-on-one, and at the time I thought, I don't want a group program right now. I need the one-on-one answers and attention. And I thought that I did not want to do another group program. I love groups and find them, these containers, very transformative, but sometimes it feels like a lot because I'm also doing groups myself, and the fact that it was more time on Zoom. And so I was just wondering, like, what's going to be the most effective use of my time? But as we work together, and I listened to a lot of your podcasts, I thought that I want more. I want more of this. And I was also hesitant because I've done business courses before in groups, and as an introvert, I kind of fade into the background. But this was a big enough group that there was energy, but there was still a sense of intimacy. And ultimately, I realized that was what was calling to me to be part of something that has a live component so we can move together. So it's not just recordings that are going to sit on my hard drive or, wait for me to have a time to fold laundry and listen. Um, so there's like an accountability of being in a group and moving through the process together. And I do think that that was the right choice. And it was different from other business courses that I've taken. I've been more active in keeping up, or I don't want to say keeping up because I don't like the way that sounds, but in the moving through because there was that connection.
Mm.
How about you, Hannah?
The decision point for me was very fast, Sarah. So I I think I got one of your emails, or I can't even remember quite what the initiator was. Um, but I have been looking for some time, probably about 10, 12 years, for something like this. And I tried various places and groups and individual work, and it was all a pathway and a stepping stone. But then once I had heard some of your podcasts, seen what you were about to offer, shifting it from, I think, Sorceress to HSSEO and so many other programs, I just knew straight away, and I couldn't wait for the email that said, we're now opening our doors. And I don't think there was more than maybe 4 to 6 weeks gap, but it felt like a very, very long time. So my instinct made the decision. I remember having, there was a free call chat, and I knew I was going to say yes straight away, but I just wanted to meet you, to check that energy, and also check the chemistry, and also check that I was, from your perspective, in the right place at the right time to be able to receive the learning and the group dynamics. I'm the opposite of you, Reise. You probably guessed. High extrovert. However, I also have high sensitivity to the point where I can easily get overwhelmed, and that then shuts down all my systems because it's too much and I can't cope. So I haven't felt that once here. I felt that the balance between the in-person meetings, the access to the videos, the masterclasses, the access to the community. I didn't take advantage of the Tuesday prior sessions each week for me, which were about the sort of co-working, as they didn't quite fit my work agenda timings. But no, I've totally loved and have been challenged by every session in a very positive way. I think it's going to integrate for many weeks, months, and years to come as well.
And what has been maybe the most surprising thing that has come through for you or has unfolded? And we can just popcorn it out. We don't need to go in order for this one, but what do you feel has been most surprising for you?
Mine is very most definitely, which I knew in my head, but it's across continents, across borders. You know, the British versus the American Canadian, and now Sarah, you're in the European time frame as well. And it's just there's so many cultural differences between the two continents, and yet this group is so. I've experienced this group as being so aligned, and different perspectives and different neurodivergence, but fundamentally it's been around that connection that we are all the same, wanting to lead our soul-led businesses. And that for me has been a complete joy. Complete joy.
Mm. And Anna, something that stands out for me about just from early on in the program, I think it was the week where we started to connect, where we first connected with the higher self of your business. Do you want to speak a little bit about just maybe what surprised you or what opened up for you when you made that connection that wasn't available before?
Uh, uh, Absolutely. Still, every day, so what the it was I think it was when we were doing a meditation or a internal journey towards our business soul. Would it have
Yeah,
been that one, Sarah?
yeah, mhm,
And what came through that really shocked me, surprised me, but in the most beautiful, tearful, committed way, is that this isn't about Anna leading this business. This is around Anna partnering with the soul of horse wisdom and women elders who are here to guide, support, educate, train, challenge me. And I remember viscerally the emotional response being both enlightened, but also kind of burst into tears at that point, because all of that weight of responsibility that I thought I was carrying, which another part of me has for all my much of my life being the elder of three siblings, but all of that just dissipated. It became a partnership rather than being a expectation of me leading. And to the spirituality piece that I have for nature and for animals, but especially for horses, has been with me nearly all my life, but I didn't know that till my 40s. And so 20 years later, what has become so magical is the very thing that I've wanted to bring together, you know, self-development guidance and community with women, and the deep, deep experiential learning that horses offer us as sentient beings, is just coming together and flowing. And it's no surprise that it's happening at the same time. And it was through that connection to my higher self that I got that biggest aha moment hit. I can only remember one other in my life. That's how joyous it was. And it was like, oh my gosh, all of this worry and responsibility and weight, that was just my perspective. It was never there. And now it isn't there because it's together.
it felt like a really powerful paradigm shift for
Massive.
you. Yeah.
Which for a facilitator of change in organizations is quite funny, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I can echo that a little bit. It's I took this listening to the soul of your business actually to my partner Amber Dubinsky, who I work on Yes to Yourself with, and we had a really incredible session just together connecting into the soul of our business. And what I want to say with that, the surprising aspect overall is how much support there is. And I mean, I will say I was just surprised by the amount of practical support we received. I still find documents in our master classes that I didn't know were there. And then the other day I was looking for something for support with a sales email, and like there's a whole wonderful template to work with. So there's that very practical support, which was, I would say, a delightful surprise, just the depth and the breadth of that. And then also to be like what Anna's speaking to, and what Amber and I experienced was the unseen support, and that sense of almost I almost feel like I think this word has come up too, this steward, of these creations that want to come through and have been knocking on my door in different ways. And being more connected and supported into that portal of it's here to move through me, and whatever, yeah, whatever. There's the practical support, and then there's also that resourcing within myself, which I feel like is what I was really seeking for. And again, through the IFS work, a lot of it has I've found a lot of that support through this program. So
I guess I can piggyback a little bit because that paradigm shift of being, especially as a solopreneur, the steward of my business as opposed to the business as me, depersonalized it, and helped me to be in greater service of Myth Apotheca wanting to come through. And there was a way that something you said that kind of shifted us. This business is a vessel for, the original medicine, the love and light that we want to bring into the world. And then also holding that, and as people who want to do healing work and helping work, it's, if we are business people, we have to treat it as a business. And so allowing myself to embrace that, like, I do have to be the CEO and in stewarding this business, and that means working on profit and facing some of the uncomfortable parts, as a spiritual entrepreneur, that, like, yeah, I need to make money and I need to set this up to be efficient while still keeping what's personal. A couple of other things that were big was, there were things that you were saying, and it's not what you were saying or teaching us that was surprising. It was when it was the aha of embodying it and dropping into the reality of it, that yes, I've always been a values driven person and business, but that I can structure my days, I can structure my business around those values, instead of feeling like there's something that's competing. And that allowed me to really focus on fewer priorities and feel less overwhelmed. And then the last surprise, um, as someone who really resists AI and screen culture because I want low tech and high touch, was beginning to work with AI as a tool that can support my business, not as taking over my voice or my vision or the personal touch, but something that could actually help enhance my ability to deliver that. And I'm still just starting. I'm still just starting on that, but I think it's been liberating.
I'm with you on that one, Riser, as well. Especially the way in which AI can support us as being. I think amplifying is quite often a common word that's applied to AI, uh, but not to replace, but to enhance who we are and provide that support and backdrop. There was something else that just came to mind when you were saying about what was the surprise. And I think it's just how timely, whatever each of us, the broader group of women who have been through this process of, in the final stages of this process, and we have another year, almost another year in which to carry on listening and being part of it and going through other programs. It's not like it's a once and done. So I think there was someone else, but I think I could almost iterate this every year and still learn and more and grow. And that was almost a surprise because isn't it, well, we learn it, we're taught it, we implement it. Hey, what next? But it's not. It's just like layers and layers and and what I've also loved is just how much each of us, whilst we have a common thread, but how different we are in our cycle of business development or duration of it or type of it. And I've learned a lot through that piece as well. Yeah, I think it's going to take me many more weeks to really totally absorb and feel the true benefits. The most part being once I open this beautiful workshop space that is in the process of being created, that I've waited 16 years for, and it's going to be here in about 2 or 3 weeks.
So exciting.
Mm.
So there may be a woman listening right now who was you, a year ago or months ago, who is really considering stepping into her self CEO. What would you say to her?
Mm.
I would say if your left logical brain and your right creative intuitive processes are at loggerheads with each other, then that probably indicates that an IFS program that's based on depth of spirituality and being and connection is the best way forward, in that it will totally challenge you, and almost like those beautiful snow globes that you shake up and everything just moves around and eventually settles. But it's also about allowing, if those of us who are overly spiritual and creative in the normal world versus those of us who are overly logical and delivery focused in the business world or normal world, actually they coalesce. I think that was something both of you were saying. They coalesce beautifully, and that's what I would say: is trust your instinct, listen to your head and heart, but trust your instinct, because it's those IFS parts that are probably holding you back, as indeed they were me.
Mm. Yeah, I would invite her to just be still and to listen and to reach out if she has any further questions. And I would say if she's really, on the fence, yeah, she already got she already got there. And like Anna said, there's probably the parts that are holding her back are just those. And that the answer is already there. And like me, mowing the lawn and just listening for that one little comment that's gonna nudge over. Um, you know, just just maybe listen for that, but it certainly will be there. And we can't always, that's the thing, right? We can't know what's on the other end of this or of anything we jump into. And I we were meant to have a project that we worked on, and from day one to identify what that project is. And I didn't know. I couldn't articulate it, but I went into it just with kind of a knowing that it would come, that if I just let myself listen, that it would come through. And I think that's similar, we to yes, have a sense of where you want to go, but also coming back, it's so much the process. And to let yourself be in this process, it's quite something special.
Um, as a almost former birth worker, um, I'm going to say that for people who feel like they are ready to birth something into the world, that they're pregnant with an idea, or even just a new way of approaching something that already exists, that this program is like having a doula by your side, um, wherever you are in the process. And that is not going to be overly focused on like just the practical, but nor just the internal processing, and that there's a nice balance of inner and outer, and enough that you can personalize it to wherever you are and however you want it to be. Like a good doula is not going to tell someone this is how you should do it. They're going to help you find your own way.
And as I said in the beginning, we're completing our circle together. And like Anna said, many women continue. Like there's some women in there who've been in it this for almost 3 years since this particular body of work started to come into being, and some for 2 years, and some for 1 year, and some who just joined us the last round, like the three of you. But what do you feel is most you're most excited about, you're most excited to deepen into as we come to the end of this journey? And we'll go in the same order this time, Courtney and then Riza.
Hmm. You know what, Sarah? I am so excited to be with the Circle is Medicine and to this name, this concept has been with me actually for years. And to be in this space where I feel like I really have a lot of tools. Like Anna was saying, it's very much still integrating. I'm really excited to go back to make sure I get all those papers and download them to really go through the process. This time was wonderful. I mean, I did so much, and also just I couldn't, nor I think it just wouldn't be honoring really my system, my nervous system, if I had just tried to do absolutely everything. That anyway, I think isn't the point. Um, so I'm excited to take what you've offered us through this to go back in my pace. And that's really part of what actually I'm wanting to do, is to expose and share my process. So rather than say, I'm going to create this new thing, and when it's ready and it's perfect, then I'm going to share it with the world. But actually, what I'm really excited to do is to a little bit more share my process. And I'm still playing a bit with how I'll do that. I think for sure on social media, which is something I've been comfortable with. Coming back to writing again. Somehow this course has really brought me back to writing, which for me has been, we talked about genius work. It's at the very least a place where I really feel, in connection with my soul. And I'm really excited to see what comes. So to see what wants to come through step by step. And of course, incorporating, the other aspects, like I said, the self-marriage and the sauna, see what happens with that. And I'm really excited to see how I will continue. I'm not sure in which forum with you, but I really look forward to continuing this journey. And of course, to also, I want to say, to seeing what the other women in this group do. And so however we stay in contact, and just seeing, what comes through in their work, because that's been a really special part of it too, is, meeting week by week and hearing little pieces, and then to see, what we all, I really appreciate that, Riza, what we all birth into the world.
How about you, Riza? What are you excited to deepen into?
Oh, um, I'm really excited. I feel like I am like in that process of like pushing out Mythopotheka. And similar to you, Courtney, I was sitting on the name for a long time and hesitating. Is this the right name? Is this the right way to do it? And the inner work in this program helped me to tend to those voices and not be ruled by them, so that it, like you're saying, doesn't have to be perfect, because I believe this is my original medicine and it's something I need to give to the world. And instead of waiting to have all the parts exactly right, it will be an iterative process. I will be going back and circling, but having now established like kind of like a core signature program, so it's more like a tree and any other offerings are branches. And also recognizing, I'm finishing my dissertation right now, so my capacity is more limited than maybe next year and the year after. So I actually have a plan, I have a trajectory that I'm excited about, but it's not as overwhelming because I'm okay saying this is for the future, but also I'm not waiting anymore for it to be perfect. I have a launch calendar with bringing out programs and redoing my website in the next few months, and a podcast, and revamping my newsletter. And I won't say I'm as excited about those pieces, but I am in less resistance, and I'm really excited about my programs and processes that are going to be less depleting so that I can give more to the participants in my programs and the clients. And there is something that just lights me up to be able to do this work. Um, and so I haven't, I'm leaning towards repeating this circle, and we'll definitely continue, hopefully, to work with Sarah and keep revisiting this. I think that something I'm taking away is this idea. We talked about something like a living document, but also like this is a living process. And that as we grow our businesses, we're also growing ourselves.
Completely agree with that one. I have two aspects that I'm really excited for. One is bringing into being, in its third iteration, the horse human, horse women work, which Thrive with the Herd was the name that I gave it to about 2.5, 3 years ago. And it's about sort of the colour and the energy from going from grey and drabness into sort of collected energy. So those of us who know about horses, it's about the collection of that energy. It's about the gentle holding and the moving forward. So that's one piece, putting into being those workshops and sessions and in person. I love in person, always have done, but then I wouldn't I, because I'm an extrovert, but there we go. And also in person with horses is so heart-centered. It's lovely. But the other thing I'm really excited about, it's almost a deep yearning of having reconnected back with my core self, which is the ability to be in flow, to not make things hard, to be able to move forward in a really organic, natural way, where the checks and balances of my thought processes and the business side and the engagement side are all still there, but it's actually fundamentally carried by flow, by being, by energy. And that's both a brilliant sports person, not seeing the hundreds of thousands of people around them in the arena and just doing their thing, as it is around not second guessing myself and over listening to all of those voices. So my self has come forward, my higher self has come forward, and all along, those beautiful beings that have held me, the three horses who have helped me thrive over the last 20 years, they have a gift to speak beyond me as the recipient. And that's what I'm truly excited about.
Well, it's been really a joy to witness the three of you and the other women in our program. And I'm just so grateful for the full heartedness that you've brought to your own process, to our collective process. And I feel deeply excited for the services, the offerings, the really soul infused creations that you're bringing into the world. It's not a small thing. And thank you for being here to share your experiences so generously and so honestly with our wider community so that others who are mowing their lawns or folding their laundry or whatever it may be can be inspired and just have a taste of this experience as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Sarah.